I don't find... Hello, my exquisitely crafted friends. I trust that your day has been going well thus far. Today we're talking about none other than Kirby Daddy Masahiro Sakurai. Does my hair look weird? Looks kind of weird in the monitor. Maybe I slept on it wrong. The man is a living legend. He created Kirby, he created Smash Brothers, and has since poured his heart and soul into the series, often to detrimental degrees. By his own account, he got really sick while working on Smash Ultimate and chose to come into work anyway, still hooked up to an IV. While we can worry about his health and greatly wish he would take it easy already, we can also admire his passion and be thankful for his dedication to producing and delivering a highly polished and highly fun product. Today, though, I'd like to talk about his plans beyond Smash. Once these final DLC characters are out, what's in store for the guy? Well, if you ask me, I've got an extremely vague idea of what might happen. I'm 100% sure of the exact project he's going to work on next, and you better stick around if you want to know what it is. Much better. Okay, so we know Sakurai worked like mad on Smash Ultimate, right? And knowing him, he's probably putting 100% of his time into the remaining DLC characters. But recently, I got to wondering, what can we expect from him after that's all done? There's always the chance that Nintendo will release even more DLC for Ultimate, but somehow I don't really see that happening. I could easily be wrong, but so far that isn't something they've been into doing. They put out a game, they give us the DLC, and then they move on to the next thing. If that's true, then Sakurai's schedule will open up early next year when Leon Kennedy finally drops. My biggest hope is that he takes a solid year off from work, because we all know he's more than earned it, but something tells me he's just gonna jump into his next project. But what project will that be? One might assume that it will be the next Smash Bros, but I don't think that's the case. Let's take a look at the list of games he's worked on so far to get a clearer picture of his Smash creating process. The original Smash Bros launched in '99, and he got right to work on Melee and busted it out by 2001. After that, there was a pretty long gap before Brawl hit the Wii in 2008, and another fairly meaty gap before Smash 4 hit Wii U and 3DS in 2014. Then Nintendo was pretty darn eager to get Smash on the Switch, so we had a sort of medium but comparatively small gap before Smash Ultimate graced our lives in 2018. From this, we can see that there have been times when Sakurai has needed to get to work on the next Smash immediately, and other times when he's had plenty of breathing room. I suppose it all just depends on what point in a system's life cycle Nintendo wants it to have Smash. Sometimes it's later, sometimes it's pretty early on. Sure, Sakurai could get started on the next Smash game right away, but all the data we have indicates that right now we are entering another gap. Ultimate hit the Switch not even a full 2 years into its life, and Nintendo has expressed that they want the little thing to last a good long time. Exactly what that means is up for debate, as we've talked about before, but 7 years is becoming the new average life cycle for consoles. For the sake of conversation though, let's aim lower. Let's say the Switch sticks to the old average, which was 5 years. That means we won't get a new Nintendo system until 2022. We can be pretty darn sure that each system will only get one Smash game, and apart from Melee, the games don't usually release until a system's been out for a while. So even on the low end, with only a 5-year life cycle for Switch, that still means it will likely be 5 or 6 years until the next Smash game. And if the Switch sticks around for 7 years before getting replaced, it could be 7 or 8 years until the next Smash. Even if Nintendo decides to fill that gap with some sort of additional DLC pack, it is all but certain that we won't be seeing the next full-scale production for quite some time. So, what will Sakurai do in the meantime? Well, let's take another look at that timeline. Sakurai started his career by creating Kirby and working on the first few games, then broke off from directing the series because he didn't feel like just producing Kirby sequels forever. The first major thing he did after that was create Smash Bros. You know, no big deal, just created yet another legacy Nintendo franchise like it was nothing. Then in the gap between Melee and Brawl, he primarily worked on 2 titles. The first was Kirby Air Ride, which seems to have become something of a cult classic. I never played it myself, but I can really appreciate all the interesting stuff it brought to the racing genre. It seemed really creative. Then Sakurai co-created Meteos on the DS, which was another very interesting new take on an old genre. Neither of these games were massive successes, but they very much showcased the man's creative talents. Then, in the gap between Brawl and Smash 4, he gave us his most ambitious non-Smash, non-Kirby project yet. I have sung the praises of Kid Icarus Uprising enough on this channel, but I will just say that the game is huge and it is clear that he put his all into it. I mean, it was every bit as much of an IP rejuvenating modernization as Metroid Prime or DKC Returns were. Or at least it should have been. It sold okay, but I think people were scared off by such an intense, demanding control scheme and gameplay experience on such a small system. It felt like a great big console game that was crammed into the 3DS. I've said it before, and I've said it one or two times since saying it before, and I'll say it again here. It is a crime that Kid Icarus Uprising hasn't been remastered for one of Nintendo's home consoles. It has the potential to turn Pit into another iconic character, rather than just a remnant from the ancient NES days. Anyway, now that we're entering into another gap, likely a very meaty gap, it stands to reason that Sakurai is going to work on another non-Smash game. And that's really at the core of this video, the idea that after so many years of Smash, we just might be in for another one of the man's rare side projects. This is obviously very exciting because of his track record. He's an incredibly talented director and designer with an eye for both big picture mechanics and tiny details. Nothing he has ever done has been straightforward. He's always brought his own unique kind of style and original ideas to the table. There's no way of knowing what a mysterious new Sakurai title might end up being, but at the very least, we can take a few swings. Now, it's important to note that technically, the way I understand it at least, forgive me if I'm misunderstanding some aspect of this, Sakurai is not an employee of Nintendo. He is an independent contractor working through his own company, Sora Limited. Technically, he could very well go off and make a game for a different company entirely. However, because of his long history with Nintendo, I'm gonna move forward under the assumption that he will indeed stick to making Nintendo games for the foreseeable future. Okay, so with that in mind, let's talk options. One option is for him to return to one of his other projects by giving us a sequel or a remaster. Some sort of Kirby Air Ride revival would probably make a specific group of people very, very happy. Nintendo seems to hate the GameCube though, so fat chance, am I right? Then there's Meteos, though I feel like his talents have grown beyond the scope of smaller projects like that, so I can't see anything happening with Meteos unless it's like a passion project or something for him. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. A much more exciting prospect? Doing something else with Kid Icarus. It does unfortunately sound like he's not really interested in doing more beyond Uprising, which is a real shame if you ask me. I mean, why bring back an old IP like that and create a whole new gameplay style and world and everything just to leave it behind again? But I can at least hope that there's a little more chance that he'll help out with a remaster or something, even if I'm still not holding my breath for such a thing. Also very exciting, the idea of him taking the helm again on a brand new Kirby game. He's helped out with some of the games here and there, and of course there was Air Ride, but he's gone a long while without majorly contributing to any Kirby projects. I would love to see him do something awesome with the pink puffball. I want him to have a whole game to himself, to try a whole bunch of new things and just make something really great. To take all of his experience and all the skills he's gained since working on those original games and put it into one single brand new giant project. I mean, look at World of Light. The guy obviously still has a lot of love for his little creation, so who knows, maybe after a nice long break he'll want to return to Dreamland. Oh, but the most exciting idea of all, the thing that I really want, something new. Sakurai has created so few original projects, but a weirdly large amount of them have turned into big franchises. Shall we look at the timeline one more time? Right out of the gate, he created Kirby. Still going strong today. Then he was like, I don't feel like doing Kirby anymore, so he created Smash Bros. One of Nintendo's biggest franchises. Okay, just whatever, right? Then he did Meteos and Air Ride. Okay, I mean, you don't like always have to create entire franchises, right? Sometimes you just want to make a fun game. But then the next time he wanted to do something new, he did Kid Icarus Uprising. Again, it didn't turn the IP into something big, but I really believe it could have under different circumstances, and still could to this day if they would just get off their rears and put it on Switch. Even if it wasn't a massive success, it was still a massive game with an epic scope and an absurd amount of features. It was very much treated like a project with the potential for massive success. So after all that, we really just have no idea what he might dream up next. It could be another smaller side project that performs modestly, but it could also be another modernization of an old IP, or it could be a totally original game, or, and I know I can't get my hopes up too high here, but you gotta admit it's at least possible, it could be an original game that spawns another whole franchise of its own, a la Kirby and Smash. It's a long shot, you can't just pull that kind of thing out of midair, but I must say the thought really gets the blood pumping. He's done platforming, he's done fighting, he's done racing, he's done falling block puzzles, he's done third-person shooting / shoot-'em-up hybrid. He could do just about anything at this point. He's a box of mystery, he's an enigma wrapped in a burrito, however that goes. He could just, it could be anything. Anything in the whole entire world, we have no idea, and that is just thrilling to me. I would be remiss, however, not to mention the least pleasant potential outcome. In the past, he's worked himself nearly to death on the Smash series. He's expressed doubt that he'll be able to continue doing them, and for all we know, Ultimate was really his last. In 2013, he was diagnosed with calcific tendinitis, which made working very hard, and I don't know if it has been since treated with complete success, or if he still struggles with it to some degree. There is at least a small chance that after he's done with Ultimate, his next project will be nothing at all. Maybe he'll take a long break, then just pick things up again with the next Smash in 4 or 5 years. Or maybe he'll quit games entirely and focus on just enjoying life and, like, sleeping and stuff. While, once again, I do very much like the idea of him taking a break and treating himself better, I don't find any of these options super likely. Workaholics work because they love to work. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a heck of a lot more complicated than that, and workaholism is a pretty big problem. Let's just say creative people create because they love to create. They're full of ideas. They want to always be working on the next thing. Based on Sakurai's history, even if he does quit Smash forever, something is going to happen after Ultimate. I don't know what this theoretical new project will end up being, but I can tell you that I am greatly excited to find out. If we're really lucky, we'll even see the first trailer 3 or 4 years from now. Ugh, video games are the worst. Everything takes forever. You know the question for today. What would you like Sakurai's next project to be? Ice Climbers Uprising? Meteos Minions Magic? Kirby's Chair Sit? Let me know down in the comments, and you have a terrific rest of your day. And in case you don't know, terrific is a shortening of the word terrific, which is also a word that I would use to describe your face.